Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about mind control for weight loss. Let's get right into it. Kind of a clickbaity title. But let's talk about mind control because as a hypnotist, that's what I help people do. But I will let you know that mind control somehow has this weird uh, association to it, right? It's just weird. And so the idea that you would control your mind is almost like, again, that I would take complete and total Swami like control over your mind, or you would do the same. And it's not really like that. Mind control, I mean, to me, learning how to drive a car was mind control. Learning how to play guitar has taken mind control. Everything takes mind control. And so, once again, the society we live in kind of goofifies mind control into being this weirdo thing. And yet it's probably the most important ability or skill that you could ever learn in your life because every single thing in your life runs through your mind. So I'm here to kind of demystify mind control. It's not I'm sure there's weird mind control stuff. I'm not going to say there's not, but in my world, mind control is as kind of mundane and normal as talking about, how you would set up a garden. I mean, it's step by step. There's things there, situations we're starting with, where we want them to go. How do we change them? That's it, And so it's funny to me that if you say mind control, really anything around it, it just seems weird. And so you just say, I don't think so. And so now what are you doing? How are you going to run your mind? What do you think about your mind and how it's affecting your weight, your life? It's affecting it, isn't it? So what is your mind? Again, that's obviously a huge idea. So to me, mindset is specifically, I talk about 6 things. Okay. So within a mindset, we're talking about motivation, your self-image or identity, how you think of yourself, your habits, what you do consistently, behaviorally, your emotions that you feel, and your ability to deal with them, manage them, your thinking, like literally how you think about stuff, and then your maintenance ability, which is your ability to stay on track with what it is you want to do. And so, certainly could add a lot more to mindset, but this is a very practical breakdown. And so to me, when you impact these 6 areas of your mind, your motivation, self-image, habits, emotions, thinking, and maintenance, when you influence those in a positive way, when you make shifts to those areas of your mind, it's mind control. So I think what people think a lot of times, mind control is kind of like willpower, that you'll just have the ability, no matter what happens, you'll just make the right decision. And again, that idea is so simplistic as to mean practically nothing. So again, the secret to mind control is to first realize it's not some weird thing. It's just being able to influence your mind in a practical, strategic way that works to get you to where you want to go. And so once you realize that, the next step, again, is that you start to influence your mindset by breaking it down. And again, strategically working on fixing these areas, because once you do improve your motivation and how you think about it, your self-image, habits, emotions, thinking, and maintenance, your mind is different. And so you've controlled your mind and you've learned how to run it differently. And in Program Yourself, then we do that specifically to your weight, obviously. So how do you have mind control to weigh what you want? And so again, the most people's reflexive idea that you're going to have the same mindset basically, but you're just going to have this magical ability to say, no, I'm not going to eat the ice cream. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But that's not real mind control. Real mind control is how you feel about cigarettes, for example. So if you're a non-smoker, the way, the mindset, the mind you have when it comes to cigarettes does all the heavy lifting. So you're not sitting here fighting off cravings all day long for cigarettes. You just don't have any. Okay. And so it's really, really important that you realize that it's just so much bigger. It's more than just saying, I'm not going to do something. It's about how you think about things in a fundamental way. And so that being said, if you want some help kind of moving in that direction and actually mind controlling yourself to your goal weight, click the link in my bio, go get the hypnosis session and watch the video that I made for you. It's ready to go. What's up, Lindsay? Lindsay says, hey, Jim, I want to talk about how keeping your food and meals simple makes staying on track easy. I read some research about someone's fat set point and how it can be affected by how bland or not bland their food is. The clinical term for it seems to be called adiposity set point. One woman commented and said she keeps her food black and white so she can live in color. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, yeah, keeping your food and meals simple is crucial. You've got to make it easy and enjoyable. If you hate what you're doing to lose weight, meaning it's either super hard to do and or you just hate it, you're miserable doing it, you're never going to stick with it. So, yes, at the very heart of programming yourself thin is uh finding meals and implementing meals that uh are simple and easy and enjoyable. That's the process. Jim, I don't know those meals are. Well, I don't know what those meals for you are either, because the meals that are simple and easy, enjoyable for me, they may or may not be for you. I don't know. So it's a process of figuring out what those are. I will say, in terms of bland food, I don't like to say this aloud a lot because a lot of times people aren't ready to hear this. But part of my eating strategy is partly to consume a lot of bland food, because guess what? Natural, whole, clean foods are bland compared to ultra processed foods. So, you know, I think that that's important to understand. And that is part of my strategy, is literally to have bland foods a lot of the time, because everything's relative too. So the more bland most of my eating is, when I go to my more pleasure based eating, I don't have to go way over the top, which is where a lot of people find themselves. Your baseline is completely ultra processed, hyper palatable foods. And so to overdo that, you really have to go overboard. For me, I eat really clean and whole and natural foods most of the time. So I don't need to go way higher to, kind of have something that's considered a treat, or, that there. So yes, I like bland food as part of a strategy, and again, it calibrates your taste buds, and the more natural and whole taste that you start to enjoy, the better, because it just guides you right to the foods that help you manage your weight. So, what's up, Gail? Gail says, hi, how long does it take to notice an improvement? I'm a week in, but no changes so far. All right. So, Gail, I know you're in the program. So here we go. And I want you to be able to use these lives for coaching. So, where do we start? No changes so far. Let's start there. So let's assume you've been using the program, even just the hypnosis sessions each day. So for the last week or two, I forget how long you've been in the program. Let's just say the last week or two, you've been listening to the hypnosis sessions. Let's just say I haven't even started working on the blueprints. Haven't even started using the program yourself then technique. You're just doing the hypnosis sessions. And so if you've been doing that, you've been listening to 5-minute hypnosis in the morning where you've been relaxing and calming down. At night, you've been listening to a 10-minute session and you've been relaxing and calming down for 10 minutes, and you're hearing all these positive ideas. So are you telling me that 2 weeks of listening to hypnosis 5 to 15 minutes a day hasn't relaxed you at all? Because if that's the case, then we wouldn't want to talk about that. And if you do feel a little more relaxed, that's not what I mean. I mean, I haven't lost any weight yet. Well, that's a different story. But if you're saying you've seen no changes so far, you're no more relaxed, you're no more calm, you're no more peaceful, then it's a different question. So to not, how long does it take to lose weight? Who knows? I mean, it's different for each person. First of all, you can look at metabolic lab studies. You can take a group of people, put them on the exact same calorie in, calorie out plan, and they will lose wildly different amounts of weight over time. So there's people that lose weight quickly, people that lose weight slowly. I don't know which one you are. So when it comes to weight loss, you have to understand that weight loss is inconsistent and unpredictable in the short term, and very consistent and predictable in the long term. So if we're going to base our motivation off of what happens in a week, you're pretty much guaranteed to fail, because you may or may not lose weight in a week. And who gives a shit? Because you're certainly not going to get your goal weight in a week. Your goal weight is going to appear after quite a bit of time, most likely. Again, I know dieting is always building everything around rapid weight loss, but The only way to achieve really rapid weight loss is to do extreme things, and you can't do extreme things for very long. So I don't know why that would be something people would choose. But again, part of programming yourself thin, I will let you know, Gail, is to reframe your mind so that you're not just focusing on the scale and the weight, because the weight, I can't tell you the number of people I've seen that have done everything right for a month and the scale doesn't move. And then it moves the 6th week. That's an absolute fact. It's an absolute fact. And so if a person's not going to accept that and they have in their mind, no, I should lose 2 pounds a week. If things are working, I should lose 2 pounds a week. Why? Where does that come from? This is why I hate calorie calculators with a passion, because calorie calculators are bullshit. They're guesstimates at best. Oh my God. Every single person on this planet has unique genetics, physical makeup, hormonal structure, biochemical structure, all of this stuff. So again, Gail, the part that initially I want you to get into is being able to relax and calm down. Center yourself down. Come on. Because we're in this for the long run. All right. We're in this for the long run, because you don't want to just lose weight. You want to live at your goal weight. So whether it takes you a month to lose the weight or a year to lose the weight, who gives a shit? Because you get to the same point where now you get to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life. And so it's less about how can I lose weight as quick as possible? Because again, you have to understand the flip side of lose weight as fast as possible is do the most extreme thing. There's no exception to that. The fastest weight loss is the most extreme shit you have to do weight loss. And the most extreme shit you have to do weight loss is the shortest lasting weight loss. Right? I mean, maybe it's not for you, and I'm not speaking to you, Gail. I'm speaking now more broadly. Gail says, okay, thank you. Well, good, Gail. Again, and this is part of the process. It's changing how we're approaching this, changing how we're thinking about things, starting to appreciate all the little benefits. Because just, again, I start with the most simplest thing. If you're listening to the hypnosis sessions, I mean, it doesn't mean that your thinking is going to completely change in a week or 2 or a month. But what happens is every day now, if you've done it consistently, you have spent time relaxing and calming down, grounding yourself. You're spending time hearing good messages. And as you work your way through the program, you're going to learn more and more pieces of exactly what you need to do to live at a thin and healthy weight that you choose. So, what's up, Joan? Joan says, I like that mind control reframe. It's like the term brainwashing, which can be seen as positive. Yeah, absolutely, Joan. You would get that. Again, mind control, and I was fascinated with mind control. So I don't give a shit. The weirdness of it, I was like, oh, that's cool. So I was interested in it. But after being obsessed with it for 30 years and in it, I'm literally, I am like a certified mind control artist. You know what I mean? I'm a literal certified master hypnotist, a certified NLP trainer, a yoga instructor, right? You're literally certified. So I'm a strategic coach. So I literally, I guess you could say there's 2 paths to mind control if you want to: psychology, degrees in college, and the path I've taken, hypnosis. I think what I'm associated with is more mind control. But I can tell you, having been in mind control world for 30 years, they've made it goofy. They've goofified it. They've done that with hypnosis. They've made hypnosis goofy. Hypnosis used to be part of just traditional, regular, modern medicine back in the 1900s before there was chemical anesthesia. They were using hypnosis a lot of times to help with anesthesia and other things. And so it was seen as a very credible, real approach. And then the chemical anesthesia comes out. And then, now hypnosis is just goofy shit where it make you cluck like a chicken and sing like Elvis and do dumb stuff. And so they've goofified it. And I think the powers that be don't want you to run your own mind. I don't think they want you to truly be happy. I don't think they want you to live in success and happiness. So call me conspiracy theory, whatever. But yeah, the mind control thing I find interesting. So it's like you have this negative association to mind control. It feels weird, cult-like, right? Svengali controlling my thoughts. And it's like, okay, so how do you run your mind though? And now you say, I never thought about that. I never really learned that. I've never been taught that. So again, there's always levels of cultural psychological control. And that's just one of them. I think is funny that the mind control thing, like you have a negative response to it kind of just like subconsciously. But then if I say, would you like to run your mind? You say, oh yeah, of course. How do you do it? And that, by the way, I think that is different. Like psychology, I think the big difference between psychology and mind control, hypnosis, NLP, things like that, is that psychology is going to tell you what's wrong. Psychology is going to look at you and they go look at their diagnostic manual book and say, "Oh, you're this. Here you are. Here's your label. There you go. Here's your prescription for the medicine." And you say, "Okay, well, how can I deal with it? How can I become who I want? How can I control my mind so I can be the person I want to be?" Well, now you sound like a fucking weirdo. But I'm here to sound like a weirdo for you all. What's up, Nura? Nura said, I hit the plateau for some 2 months now. Now I have to slightly adjust my habits. Honestly, the learning process isn't linear. Even after you figure things out, there's always more to learn. Nura that's the quote of the day right there. And that's back. Gail, listen to that, right? Because Nura's been in the program for a while, and there's always more to learn. It's never ending. You need to think of your weight mastery almost like as a hobby. If you play the musical instrument, you never get to the point where, oh, I learned it. I know it all. You don't. There's always more space to learn and grow, which is what makes it exciting in my book. Because absolutely, for me, even it's not a linear process. I'm constantly learning and growing and evolving in all different areas. And that's what jazzes me up about it, though. But yeah, it's never ending learning, Nura. And so that should be exciting. And so, yeah, being at a plateau for 2 months, I mean, and again, where you're at, Nura, I mean, Nura is like basically, as I understand it, Nura, unless things have changed a bit here, but Nura is basically at her goal, basically. So the plateau, I mean, is probably a hair above where you want to be. Is that right? Do I have that right? Let me know. What's up, Darlene? What's up, Karen? How's it going? Yeah, any questions you have, feel free to ask them. Ken says, bland food. We found that meal prep is one of our favorite times, new veggies, types of fish, etc. That's great. Great job, Ken. The bland food I'm talking about too, by the way, I just want to be clear. I say bland food because I'm talking about the general population. I'm talking about myself back in the day that, it's, bland is relative. Do you understand? Like, so it's like, we can look at a spectrum and say hyper palatable, super flavored food, and then we can look at bland food, right? But it's like you can zoom in, there's always gradients to it. So as I have shifted over to existing in a much more natural food world, what happens is you live within that frame. And so there's still flavor. It's relative. And most Americans would taste my food and be like, this is bland. But for me, it doesn't taste bland because everything's relative. If you use lots of spice, you need lots of more spice. If you intentionally, and I'm not saying spice is the wrong word. I'm really talking about palatants. You want to get into it? Fine, let's get into it. Ultra processed food. Again, the Dorito effect. I can't recommend that book enough. But I love that framing in the book. He starts the book off talking about livestock. And in livestock is an absolute science. They've got this shit mastered, how to get the most profit out of these animals. And a big part of doing that is getting these animals to eat extremely low quality food that they don't normally eat. Basically, they need to get them to eat the cheapest food possible that will get them as big as possible to slaughter as quick as they can, as cheaply. And so, as you can imagine, when you use really shitty ingredients, they don't eat the food. So how do they get these animals to eat this shitty quality food? And they call it palatants. It's flavoring, but that's what they call it in the livestock industry. And it's basically flavoring that triggers these animals to just consume this shitty quality food. So what does that have to do with humans? You may be asking. Well, that's exactly what the junk food, fast food, processed food companies are doing to humans. Now they call it flavoring, but I promise you, take the flavoring powder off of your Cheez-Its, off of your Doritos, and eat the substrate, the cheap, lowest price substrate they can put in your mouth. Tell me how good it is. And what you quickly find out is that it's disgusting and that you're being tricked. It's a facade. It's a food facade, which is a good name for a podcast episode. But it's a food facade. It's not real high quality food. In nature, you would not eat without the flavoring. And even now, you would not eat those foods. So for me, flavoring means it's different stuff. And I'm learning this. I wasn't this way. I used to eat the same shit everyone else ate. And my flavor modes were just blasted out of the sky. But now I have a much greater sensitivity to natural flavorings of different foods. And again, you live relative to where you live. It's kind of like, it's like, okay, so here's an example of it metaphorically with sound. You ever like be in your car and you're listening to the radio and you just like your favorite song comes on and you're just, oh, it's awesome. Then you go and you go inside and the next day you get in the car and the fucking radio's blasting. Oh my God, who listens to this shit so loud? Right? So things are relative. When you're into the song and you keep turning it up, up, you don't realize how loud it is because you slowly got used to it. Right? But then you get in the next day and you're like, holy shit, that was really loud. Well, that's how I kind of am with like the processing and the flavorings. So I now much more prefer natural flavors. That's what I like. And I live within a range of natural flavors that to a lot of people taste bland, but to me is very exciting. And there's lots of variation and, stuff within it. So that makes sense. But that's awesome. Anyways, Ken, I'm really glad. Ken's done great because, yeah, healthy cooking has become one of our great favorite hobbies. Is such a great strategy, Ken. I can't even, it's like, that's something you're doing better than me because I'm a lazy person when it comes to food. I'm so lazy. And that's why, listen, you got to build around your strengths. You have to recognize your weaknesses, but build around your strengths. One of my best strengths is I can just eat the same shit because I am so lazy that I will just eat the same food every breakfast and lunch every day. I don't care because I don't want to be thinking about what to make. I don't want to be thinking about how to get it. And I just prefer to just that. That's me though. That may not be you. Fine. But, so yeah, that is a goal of mine though, Ken, to explore more foods, especially like dinner. I would like to have more options and some creativity and spend some time doing that. So that's a goal of mine that I have on the horizon, but super happy for you, Ken. I think that's just a brilliant, if you're a person who likes to cook, if you make healthy cooking a hobby and if your family gets involved, that is just like, that's a super duper strategy because now all of a sudden you look forward to it, you enjoy it. It's got multiple benefits to it beyond just healthy food. You're spending time with your family. You know what I mean? You're taking time, kind of going back in time, cooking food the way it's meant to be cooked, a lot of benefits to it. So great job, Cam. What's up, Vicky? Happy Thursday to you. Sophia says, any tips or exercises to help us control our negative thoughts or emotions? Oh yeah. I mean, that's program yourself. Then that's the main thing we focus on is how do you, again, mind control. How do you mind control yourself? Or how can we influence the thoughts in our head? Right. You know what I mean? Like, oh God, it's just, what a funny concept. But yeah, I mean, how do you deal with the negative thoughts or emotions? The first thing you need to understand is that the emotions are created by the thoughts. Okay. So you can't feel your thoughts. Do you understand that? Like you can't feel a thought. You can have a thought and it can impact your physiology and then you can have a feeling. So it's important to understand that dynamic because we want to get specific here. So if we want to control how we feel, there's two things. So you're in Program Yourself, then we talk about feelings as states. You're always in a state. Okay. And that's basically the internal experience you're having right now. So even right now, you're in a state. And that state is defined by two things: your physiology, what's going on in your body, and what's going on in your mind, your psychology. And so we always start with the physiology. And so, if you're depressed, right, you can pick a depressed person. If you imagine you're depressed right now, what does your body do? Usually mine instantly starts slouching, right? So I'm slouching. If I'm really depressed, I'm looking down. I'm just like, blah, the energy's, I'm very loose. My breathing's very shallow, the energy is just kind of down, right? So without even getting into the psychology, the physiology is very specific. And so if I want to feel better, if I'm like, I'm tired of feeling depressed, how do I get out of this depressed feeling? The very first thing I do is change my physiology. So I sit up, shoulders back. I just took a deep breath, right? Lift my head up. Okay. Instantly I started to feel a little better. Now, is this going to fix everything? No. Okay. Because usually what happens is the things I'm thinking are affecting my body. Again, your state is a cybernetic loop. It's constantly impacting each other. The thoughts are impacting the feelings are impacting the thoughts. And it just keeps getting more and more intense typically. So the first thing we want to do, that we want to change I'm having a negative emotion. I'm feeling depressed, let's just say. And I kind of catch myself. I feel depressed. First thing I'm doing is look at my body, because you're never going to feel depressed like this. You know what I mean? Like moving around. You're never had it. You've never felt depressed that way, and you never will. Okay. So again, it's a little bit of a, okay, I feel a little bit better. And then once you feel a little bit better, now we can go into the thoughts. Well, what was I focusing on? What was I thinking about? What was I saying to myself? And so this is the awareness piece. The first thing you got to do with program yourself then is learn to be aware of what you're thinking in your head, because most of your thoughts are just running on autopilot and you're just at the mercy of them. And so as you start to become more aware of what you say to yourself, how you say it to yourself, what you focus on, what you remember, this is your psychology. And as you start to change it to something better, that's how you change how you feel. Because a lot of times there's literally like a mental recipe that you're following to feel depressed. And so it might be you say, well, what's the point? Nothing ever works anyways for me. You might say it like that in your head. That might be the voice you hear. And then you might start remembering times when you tried something and you failed and it didn't work. And so you start reinforcing that. And so it's this process of focusing on the failures, saying things that make you feel depressed. And it's literally like a recipe. So the first step is kind of change your physiology and then change your psychology. Start saying different things to yourself. Say, okay, yeah, I failed in the past, but I can always change. I'm a human. I'm still here breathing. I'm alive and kicking. I'm a smart person. I'm resilient. I can do this. It might take me a little longer than I thought. That's okay. I got this. I'm going to work on this. And so as we start changing what we're saying and we change our physiology, that's a pretty powerful way to change how you're feeling and what you're thinking. So hopefully this helps. Now, of course, I'm telling it to you, but it takes practice. And that's what Program Yourself Thin is, literally practicing how to feel and how to think like a thin, healthy person, how to think and feel and live and eat like the person you want to be. So that's a great question though, Sophia. What's up, Kelly? I have the Dorito Effect book on my list to read soon. Sounds disgusting. It is disgusting. It's disgusting. What do they call it? Oh my God. I'm blanking on the word, but it's gross. I mean, again, I always say to you all that you all think your weight loss comes down to willpower. Like, how much can I fight against the junk food and the stuff? And you think it all comes down to willpower, when in reality, it comes down to your mindset. If you study junk food, if you dedicate a month or two to studying junk food, to reading the Dorito Effect, Salt, Sugar, Fat, the End of Overeating, Over Processed People, you read those books, you're going to come out the other side thinking a lot differently. And then all of a sudden you won't need a lot of willpower. You won't want to eat that shit. That's where I'm at. I don't have a lot of willpower. I think differently than I did. And so I genuinely don't want to eat a lot of that stuff. So that's doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Do I not use any willpower? No, of course I still use willpower, but I'm not relying exclusively on willpower. My mindset is so much different now that my mindset pretty much most of the way is getting me to where I want to go. The way I think, the way I eat, the way I live is all kind of thin and healthy. So it just kind of runs on autopilot. So I don't need a lot of willpower. That's the big difference. Kelly says, by the way, you want me to send you the intuitive eating book? I found it at a thrift store. Oh yeah, sure, Kelly. Yeah. That would be cool. Because I've been meaning to kind of research that a bit more. So I can tell you all why it doesn't, why it's not going to work for you. What's up, John? John, thank you for your continued support. That helps keeping us on track. Well, I'm glad. Yeah. That's what I'm here for. And I got your all continued supports, especially everyone that's in the mastery program and above. Like I said, I'm so excited for you all. New upgrade to the program coming at you. And I think you're all going to love it. So I'm super excited for you. Nura said, yep, just as fine tuning. Yeah, exactly. So Nura, when Nura says that she's in a plateau, it's a plateau you'd all love to be in. But I get it. Everything's relative again. Nura says, I'm happy where I'm at, but hey, now's the time to get as fit and healthy and thin as I can. So I'm going for it. Yeah, I got you, Nura. Yeah. So Nura's maximizing. She's in all mode. You know what I mean? But again, even in all mode, there's just, people have this mistaken idea that you're going to start at the bottom of the mountain and go right to the top of the mountain without realizing that your weight loss journey, most people's, even if you're like 10 pounds away, most people's weight loss journey is more like Everest, where you need to climb a little, go to base camp, adjust, climb a little, base camp, adjust. That's a much more accurate metaphor for weight loss as far as I've seen it. And there's always this taking action. Again, this is why in Program Yourself Thin, we don't do the all or nothing bullshit that dieters do. We do all or something. And so the something is base camp mode, but we're never going back to the bottom. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how you dieters are. You dieters give yourself one chance to get to the top of the mountain. and you start and you got one shot to get to the top. And it's like, imagine you want to climb Everest like that. Like you literally can't. So again, this is a great metaphor, and I've never put it quite this way before, but this is one of the core reasons why the way you think about weight, this is just one of them. There's so many. Like, I guess what I'm saying is if you're a dieter, you're literally like, you're almost guaranteed to never live at your goal weight. As terrible as it sounds for me to say that, your diet is not going to help you live at your goal weight. At best, it'll help you lose some weight for a little while. And here's just one more example of you're thinking about weight loss completely wrong. And you're approaching Everest like you're going to run up to the top of it. You got one shot and you're trying to run to the top. And it's a shitty strategy. And so as soon as you can't make it to the top, you quit and you go back to the bottom. But you don't adjust anything. You just say, oh, okay, I'm going to do it again. If I want to do this, I got to do this. So I'm going to run to the top. And nope, no, you're not. No, you're not. And you just keep doing that. You never adjust it. You never like, saying, who are these people in the tents over here hanging out? You don't even pay attention to it. You just keep trying to run to the top. And it's asinine. And you're way too smart for it. Again, I say this all the time and I say it with love because I know my clients. I know the people that listen to me and the people that aren't, if you're not an overthinker, this ain't for you. Again, listen, you can listen. I don't mind you listening. You'll learn some cool stuff, but this just ain't for you. You know what I mean? Like not everything can be for everyone. Program Yourself Thin is really not for most people. I'm gonna make no joke. There's no secret about that. I don't want to sell this program to everyone. I started doing that last year and I quickly stopped because I don't want people just like using this like a diet. Oh, let me listen to sessions and see how quick I can lose weight. You're missing the whole point. You got to commit to this, But anyways, one of the key things you got to make a shift in your mind is just thinking this as it's much more like Everest, where you're going to put some effort in, you're going to get to a spot, and then we want to maintain that spot, all or something. And the somethings keep developing and moving us up. And then we go all mode, move up to the next base camp. Now it's something there. Move up a little more in the next base camp. And that approach is much more strategic and smarter, in my opinion. But again, just to simplify everything I'm saying, it's the reason you're struggling with your weight is not because you don't have the willpower. It's not because you don't know the diet to do. It's because you have no idea how to create the mindset of a thin, healthy person. And no one's showing you, and you're not, well, you're listening to me, so I guess you are trying to learn it. But if you really want to learn it, make sure you click the link in my bio, go get the hypnosis session, watch the video I made for you, and read the emails I send. Because again, this is a mission for me. So I want to help you learn how to do it. I'm not trying to keep it a secret. What's up, Sherry? Sherry says, hey, Jim from Thrive. I'm working hard on keeping my mind in the present moment versus worrying about the future, like medical tests, etc. All my life, I've given those things way too much power. You're really helping me with this too, by the way. Thank you. Well, you're welcome, Sherry. Yeah, great job. And of course, that's what always happens. With Program Yourself Thin, I'm being a little sneaky guy. Really, Program Yourself Thin is a personal development program. It's about becoming the best version of you possible. And so, yeah, it's like the weight loss, almost the Trojan horse. I'll help you lose weight, but really I'm going to help you become a better version of you. And when you know how to become a better version of yourself and you start getting the weight under control, hey, we're humans. We want more. Thanks, Angel. So a lot of times when you start getting results with the weight and you say, oh shit, maybe I'll start dealing with this health test anxiety stuff that I've had. I don't have to live that way. Maybe I'll deal with this relationship. I can make it better. Maybe I'll deal with my finances. I want to make more money. So I'll use the same stuff to do that, whatever. But it's all the same process. Everything in your life runs through your brain. So learning how to, I don't want to say control, because I think control is it's too like, that's probably why mind control is seen as a negative, is the word control is a little too strong, because you can't have complete control over your mind. You can influence it. You can influence it at a way higher level though. But of course you can't just have complete and total control over it. I wish, but, or maybe I don't, you know what I mean? But you work with it and you can work with it in a much better way. So yeah, where that shows up though in your life is that you'll have areas of your life you're not happy with. I was talking with someone about this yesterday. She's got this limiting belief about learning technology. So if she's at work and she has to learn Excel, she instantly is like, I don't know how to do this. I'm not good at technology. I'm a technical idiot. I can't learn this stuff. Right. But meanwhile, she's going to a state of anxiety and tension and stress. Well, that ain't a good state to learn anything in. And this is a smart person, so it's like the potential to learn is way higher than what she's allowing it to be. because she's going into a state of near panic, right? The whole mindset is very, the mindset is literally the opposite direction of a learning mindset. And so, hey, calm down. You're not great at learning technology. Great. We'll acknowledge that. Fine. Okay. But how could you get better at learning it? What could make it better if you calm down, if you relax, if you tell yourself, I'll figure this out eventually. Some people get it quicker than me, but hey, some people get it slower than me. I'll figure it out, and I'll just keep accumulating strategies to help me learn better and better and better along the way. And so I think that, that's natural with programming yourself then, that people start to apply this to lots of areas of their lives, because a lot of times we take things for granted because we're trapped by our mindset. We don't understand our mindset. We don't understand how to change it. And so we're kind of at the mercy of the mindset that we have now. And that is bullshit. You can absolutely influence your mindset in powerful ways to make very dramatic changes. What's up, Julie? Julie says, I think processed food dulls your taste buds. Lately, I feel like I'm tasting fresh fruit for the first time. Oh, agree, Julie. I couldn't agree with that more. So that's back to the point I was talking about, the flavorings. I mean, I can have this conversation on a number of levels, but it's like people might look at me like I'm eating bland food. But for me personally, I think the gradients within the whole natural food realm, I find to be much more exciting than the processed food world. Once you get some of your sensitivity back, there's so much variation in natural foods, but you have to have a more subtle palate to recognize them. And with processed food, like I'll eat processed food, but I mean, the main thing you're getting with processed food is salt and sugar, flavor wise. And don't get me wrong, there's nuances. There's spice now is a big one, but it's like, it's very overdone. I mean, you're getting clobbered over the head with salt. You're getting clobbered over the head with sugar. You're getting clobbered over the head with spiciness, hot heat is a big one now. So again, you're kind of dull to some degree. I mean, you know what I mean? So you say, oh, your shit's bland, Jim. Yeah, I get it, but it's not to me anymore. It was at first too. I get it, but now I'm much more refined in, a different palate. So again, that's just what naturally happens when you start eating more whole natural foods. Your taste buds change. Your taste buds are very malleable. You're very malleable, folks. That's the good news. You're very malleable. You can change yourself in ways that you don't think you can. And realizing that's really helpful. Angela says, I found ChatGPT so helpful with weight loss. It's given me ideas and support nonstop. Also, menus and shopping lists have been offered. Oh my, it told me you got this and offered binge help. That's great, Angela. Again, that's why program yourself thin. We got Gym AI. Super excited for you all, because Gym AI is going to be available for more and more people moving forward. But yeah, it's basically ChatGPT, but it's all me. I created a literal AI of myself, but it's based on 10 million, but more than that now, 10 million words that I've done my coaching calls and trainings and podcasts and videos, and I uploaded them all. So it talks like me, but it's awesome because it's got ChatGPT behind you. So you can talk to it. It's awesome. But yeah, if you don't have access to Gym AI right now, ChatGPT is great for that stuff too. Agreed. Kelly says, meditations help me see how little I control my thoughts, but also that they don't have to control me. They just be thoughts. Kelly, that's a great way to put it. I love that description of meditation. Yeah, I meditate forever, and I have more control over my thoughts than I did, but not any, I would not say I control my thoughts. I influence them way more than I did. And I'm on a never ending quest to influence them more. But I love that. Yeah. And just to realize that thoughts don't have to control you. They can just be thoughts. I think that's brilliant, Kelly. So great job. Clearly it's moving in the right direction. That's a very important insight you're having there. Yeah, Rebecca says, I paid for your program, but I love listening to you live. Yeah, Rebecca, use this too. My best clients listen to all the different shit I do. Watch the videos, listen to the lives, go to the coaching calls, listen to the trainings. And I mean, let's be honest, again, dieting is always trying to sell you that there's some easy quick fix to doing it, but there's not. This is just like if you want to learn to play the piano or a musical instrument or learn any sort of hobby or skill, the more you jump into it, you know what I mean, and surround yourself with it, the better results you'll get. So yeah, that's a big reason why I continue to do this live. It is funny. I was thinking about this over the last couple of weeks because I've been reflecting on whether I want to keep doing it. And one of the things I realized is that a lot of people that are in the program use it. And so I was like, so that was kind of interesting. It did make me wonder if I wanted to offer, and I think this is where things are probably going to go, is I may offer more access to me in the program. Thanks, Rebecca. I may offer more access to me within the program, even if you're at the level without the coaching. We got the Tuesday calls now, but there might be a little bit more, but I don't know. We'll see about that. But yeah, listen to the lives, and I'm here to support you through the lives too. If I find people that are in the program getting on the lives, I always kind of give that first priority. So if you have any questions about things, ask it, because the more you hear this stuff, this messaging, these ideas, the more you get access to them, the better. Repetition is the most important thing with your mindset. Repetition is number one. And you know this because all the commercials you see, you see the same commercial over and over and over and over. And there's a reason for that. Advertisers don't do things for no good reason. So reinforcement and repetition is probably the most important thing when it comes to transforming and changing your mindset. So yeah, keep listening. Judith says, good idea about the so-called bland food, or one could just say basic. Yeah, of course. Right. And I know bland is considered a negative thing. So it's like, again, it doesn't taste bland to me, but it does taste bland to a lot of people. But what I'm trying to say is that I intentionally move towards bland because I've known that moving towards bland, it's because I'm eating all this bullshit. And so as I move towards healthier, natural foods, it's going to taste bland to me initially. So, what I mean? That's how I think about it. And I say, I want to go towards bland because it's healthier. And I know that it's going to become less bland as I spend more time in there. So do you know what is ingredient natural flavors? Natural flavors is fascinating. And the difference between unnatural flavors and natural flavors, a lot of times is very little. But yeah, flavors is very interesting, what that actually means. And so yeah, it could be a number of ingredients. Ken says, you're retired and have the time. Yes, that's great, Kent, though. But again, even that, so that's like a quadruple. Like, again, when you start, if you have the time and you start making one of your hobbies cooking healthy, that's just a brilliance. You know what I mean? Like, Kent's good like this. Ken is, I always say this, Kent's like he's a savant when it comes to program yourself thin. He's really just gets it. And that's a strategy for any of you, though. If you have the time or the interest to cook, making healthy cooking a hobby, something that you dedicate time to. Again, in the program, we call it a leveraged behavior, leveraged habit, because by doing that, you're getting a lot of benefit back, right? Because you're spending time with people you care about. You're spending time, again, naturally cooking, slowing down, getting healthier ingredients, paying attention to the food you're eating. Obviously, Ken's in program yourself in, so now he gets all the consequence phase of eating that way. He feels good. He feels better. So that's just a great strategy. That yeah, not everyone can do, and that's fine too. You know what I mean? But if you can do it, that's a great one. Judith says, I like the metaphor of Mount Everest, then plateau, then up. Yeah, exactly. Can't keep running to the top. No, exactly. You need to have some times where, again, that's what you dieters, you treat your weight loss like it's an endurance test and you get one shot at it. And you have no, as soon as you start running out of steam, you fall apart. You got no plan B. You have no idea what to do when you're not in all mode. That's why you're all or nothing. And program yourself, then we're all or something. And again, the somethings represent like a base camp-ish type concept. But boy, doesn't that make it easier. I don't know. Mastering your weight's not that hard. I will let you know that. Weight loss is hard because you're trying to do it as fast as possible. It's different and it's difficult. But weight mastery, ironically, is way easier than weight loss. Well, mastering your weight's not that hard. I know you think it is, but it's because you've never learned it. You've never learned how to master your weight, not even one time. So if you've never learned something, anything you haven't learned is fucking hard. I mean, if you never learned how to tie your shoes, it'd be hard. Shit, swimming, right? Swimming's one of those funny things because it's like, geez, you just realize a lot of people have never learned how to swim. And when you know how to swim, you just take it so for granted. You're just like, oh, humans just swim and babies are floating. Swimming's easy. And then you watch people just sink and you're like, oh, shit. So it's like, yeah, we're humans. We need to learn. We don't know lots of, especially with eating and food and weight. I think it's so ridiculous. The intuitive eating concept, for example, is so stupid to me because, like, what intuitions? The intuitions you developed over millions of years in a food scarce environment? Are those the intuitions you're relying on with your intuitive eating? Are we going to address the fact that we're surrounded and we live in an alien environment, constantly surrounded by hyper addictive, hyper palatable foods in abundance? So what intuitions? Because the intuitions you have are to eat everything in fucking sight, to eat as much as you can because you might never eat again. Those are what your intuitions are telling you. Your intuitions are saying, oh my God, sugar, eat it. Eat it. There's calories in this. Eat it while we can. It's not gonna be around long. Eat it quick. So what intuitions exactly are you relying on in this environment? You know, again, if I drop you off in the woods, go ahead. Your intuitions are fine. Go ahead, knock yourself out. It's not the intuitions, it's the environment. That's the thing we got to address. And your old ass evolved intuitions ain't going to help you now. You're in a completely different environment. You know, they'll blast you off to the moon. Oh, just use your earth. Use your earth instincts and intuitions. Nah, you got to learn new intuitions. You're in a whole different environment. So yeah, crock of shit. I know there's aspects of intuitive eating that make sense, obviously, but I think the term don't like it. Don't think it's going to work either for you to lose weight. Rachel says, I love the lives. I don't think I've missed one since I started listening last July. I'm in the coaching program. If I do miss one, I always listen to it on YouTube. Yeah, and Rachel's killing it. Rachel's killing it, which I meant to ask you, Rachel. I don't know if Rachel gives the best testimonials ever. I don't even know if you mean to do that, but Rachel was reporting in on her successes last week and they were so inspiring. I was wondering if you could let me use that in a video if you're cool with that. But yeah, Rachel's just killing it. And it's always the same thing. Hey, did you not notice this is kind of life, right? The more people commit to something, the better results they get on the other side. Program Yourself Thin's no different. And the people that really commit to the information, they all are killing it. They're all at their goal weight, just killing it. Mastered, like it's easy for them. So that's why I'm so confident with what I'm talking about. I'm not just up here bullshitting like this is some theory I have. I've been doing this for over 20 years professionally. I've done thousands of private weight loss sessions, 6,000 private weight loss sessions. I talk about this shit every single day. I watch people transform before my eyes over and over and over again. So, yeah. So again, and success leaves clues is true. The people that get the best results are always ones that commit the most. And I always say that, you know, like again, with weight loss for you all, if you're a dieter, your weight loss is you just wing it, right? You say, okay, I'm going to start Monday and hopefully I'm going to stick to my plan and lose all the weight. And you'd never get there, but whatever. But Program Yourself Thin is like, it's like college, or it's like a I'm blanking on the word. It's like a certification. Like say you want to become a carpenter or a plumber or an accountant, or you wanted to get a degree in biology, right? And so you go and you sign up for a training and you take the training. And so regardless, you sign up for a plumber. Yeah, I want to become a plumber. And you say, well, yeah, but I don't know much mechanical thing. They say, it doesn't matter. You're going to learn what to do. It doesn't matter. You get accountant. I'm not the greatest with numbers. Doesn't matter. If you come and learn this shit, you'll learn the stuff you need to be an accountant. You know, and it's the same thing with your weight mastery. It's like, well, I don't have a lot of willpower. I'm not this. It doesn't matter. If you learn the pieces of mastering your weight, if you learn how to think, live, and eat like a thin, healthy person, you're going to be a thin, healthy person. So Program Yourself Thin is fascinating in the sense that one of my favorite testimonials is from someone who I love this. She goes, I forget how much weight she lost, but it was somewhere in the 40 pound, maybe. It's just like a little more she wants to go to. But she goes, the craziest part to me is like, I didn't even believe it was going to work. I didn't even believe any of the shit you were saying. Didn't believe in the hypnosis, didn't believe this, didn't believe it was going to work. And it still worked. And that's what I mean. And that's how we've all felt. Like if you went to college, you start college, you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing here. But you learned it because you're just following a path. And when we don't know something, the path feels like, oh, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to be able to do it. But if you just stick with things, you just learn how to do things. That's like the hardest part of being a human, I think. It's like even with your hand, right? It's like you know how to write with one hand, and it's like you know how to write. But the idea that you would learn with the other hand would feel impossible to you almost, right? It doesn't make logical sense, but kind of how it feels. And that's how it is with your weight loss. You're so conditioned. you're kind of naturally built this way, and it's been conditioned by the diet industry, but you're so like apathetic and disbelieving that it's ever going to work for you. And so you never really commit to something. Now, don't blame me, because no diet is ever going to help you, because the diets never show you what you need to know. There's not a diet out there that shows you how to create the mindset, lifestyle, and eating plan of a thin and healthy person. There's plans out there that tell you how to drastically change what you're doing so you can start losing weight quick. And they're not plans that are built for the long term. They're not plans that show you how to change your mindset. They're not plans that show you how to get your lifestyle to support your eating. And there's no plans that show you how to customize your eating for you. Because what the fuck? I hate dieting right at the very core of it, because because I know my people are overthinkers, perfectionists, stubborn. They know the right stuff. I love my people. I'm one of them. Okay. But you are not going to live your life letting someone tell you what to fucking eat for the rest of your life. It does not sit right with you. So, when that rebellious part always comes out? Yeah. That rebellious part comes out because right from the beginning, you're in this idea, okay, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. No, you won't. You've got to figure out what you want to do. You need to create a one-size-fits-one plan. That's the only thing that's going to work for you. If you're listening to this and you're that type of person, you need to figure out the plan that works for you. And once you do that, again, you start having a whole lot more faith, and belief in the process, because it's just different than anything you've learned before. But I'm telling you, the reason you're so apathetic about your weight loss is because the only thing you ever do to try and lose weight is diet. And diets are just telling you what to do and never showing you how to get yourself to do it. No one ever shows you how to get yourself to do it long term. You've never learned that. And don't you think that's important? Judith says, can't depend on willpower. It's probably about 10% of the struggle. Yes, absolutely. Yep. He says, mistakes are best lessons learned. Yes, absolutely. Kathy says, you're a great counselor. Thank you. Yes, I really am. This is what I do. You know what I mean? Hey, what do you want? Like, I'm pretty good at it. I'm obsessed with weight. I'm obsessed with coaching people, helping people live with their goal weight. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. And I want to do it all the time. So I'm glad that you appreciate it. Judith says, you helped me so much. Thanks, Jim. You're welcome, Judith. Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate hearing that. Well, Rebecca, offer a Cash App on live. We'll tip here. It's so funny you say that. I just had someone write to me, and I get this shit all the time, but it's like it's like a talent group that helps you make your lives more successful. Like, you'll get more gifts. And I'm like, but I don't know. I told you, I'm lazy. I'm lazy. I've been doing these lives for over 2.5 years or something, but I know I go watch other people's lives, and it's like they got like bing bongs going off all the time. They're getting all this dumb shit. And I just have no interest in that. I do this for free. I don't even want the gifts. I mean, it's nice when people say stuff. I appreciate it. And I like the funny hair and the funny stuff. It's fun, but this really is just for me to help you all out. I do this for free. This really is my mission. When I think about doing the lives or not doing them, it's not like I'm stepping back from my mission at all. My mission is to help as many people as possible live with their goal weight. That's literally my mission in life. My father died at 54 of a heart attack. It's fundamental to me. Weight is life and death. And I want you all to live the longest, healthiest, happiest life you possibly can. And so I do these lives every day for free. So if I do step back from the lives, it's not because I'm stepping back from my mission. It's basically what's happening is I've put together a lot of material now. The goal weight quiz, the 3 steps to master your weight. I got some follow-up sequences and things that are going to help you for free. Now, yes, there is a program piece and there is a pay threshold, because I have done this long enough to realize that, people that are really serious need to invest in themselves. And that doesn't, I hope that doesn't sound like a sales, bullshit. I've literally I've given the program away for free many, many, many times. And almost every single time the people have not gone through it, because I can see. And so I've quickly found over my years that the people that invest the most time, energy, and money get the best results, which I don't know if that sounds surprising to you or not. I guess it shouldn't be when I say it out loud, but it did surprise me. And so I found kind of the sweet spot is to give lots and lots of free stuff away. I pride myself on saying I give more free stuff away than anyone to help you lose weight. and we'll continue. I mean, I'm constantly posting videos, doing lives, doing the podcast, putting together things for you. And I will continue to do that. So, but yeah, it is funny you say that, but I don't know. I don't want this to become like, I don't know. I don't want a bunch of, I just don't want it to become like about me trying to make money on here. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, come on, hey, you're liking this, give me some cash. I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me, you know? The people that I want to be in the program, they always get in the program. Cause again, if you go click the link in my bio and get the hypnosis session, watch the video, you'll learn about the program, you know, but that's why it's, you could do it now, but it's at the point right now where you're not going to be able to buy the program unless you watch the video training. So it's like, I don't want anyone that just like gets excited. Oh, I'm just gonna, let me try this. You know, people like that don't get good results, you know? So I will tell you a little secret though. It's still there. And if you've been listening for a while, it's a little embarrassing to say how long I've been going this, because things always take me a lot longer than I think they're going to, but the price of the program is going up to $500. That's part of it. You know, listen, to work with me privately is 25 grand. I mean, people invest a lot of money with me. So, and money's a relative thing. And I've been selling the program for $300. And a lot of people gotten great results with that. But I just feel like I want to up it because it's worth it, but I want people to commit at a higher level. I still think the price is too low. I still think $500. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know. I'm got a left field there. Anyways, enough of that. Sherry says 100% on loving the lives, Jim. As a retired teacher, I know how important repetition is, and your lives add more dimension to my learning and mindset. Yeah, I get that too. And I will, that's why I mean, like, I think I will always do the lives. The difference may be, and I don't know, I'm just kind of I'm thinking about things. And I'm like, maybe, cause I was thinking like, what if I just did the lives for my clients, like that are in the program? Like, what if I spent an hour every day doing lives with my clients like this? And but it wouldn't be exactly like this, but it'd just be a smaller group and you'd get in there and whatever. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, would that be better? I mean, you can get on these and ask questions too. But yeah, that's the big difference. I'm going back to, I used to do a lot of advertising before and I kind of stepped away from it for a little bit. But as I go back to it, that's what I mean about my mission. I'm still going to reach a lot of people. I'm just going to reach them in a very laser targeted way. The podcast is much more of a kind of scatter shot, but I love doing it. I like doing it. John says, did the gym AI come out and I missed it to help you figure out goal weight? John, no, that's coming. In the goal weight quiz, it's literally, it's just the final little pieces are there. It should be ready this weekend. I do believe that. I believe this weekend it should be ready to go. So, that'll be there. Heard US is finally banning food dye in foods. They're banning petroleum-based food dyes is what I saw. And I never know like what's really going to happen or what's just a headline anymore. So I don't know. But yeah, I don't think food dyes are very good. So I'm all for it. Kathy says people can be so thin-skinned. I appreciate your bluntness. Oh, good. I'm glad, Kathy. I was having a conversation about that yesterday. That's another exciting part. And to be honest, that's a little bit like I'm not going to say that I don't feel like I'm tiptoeing on the podcast, but I definitely try to make the podcast be more, it sounds funny when I say this out loud. I try to make it more welcoming. And I know some people think I'm just too aggressive or whatever, but I don't. So it doesn't reflect on me well. I don't feel like I'm that aggressive on these. Maybe I am. I need to take a step back and reflect. But anyway, I'm glad you appreciate the bluntness. Me too. Karen says, the only person who doesn't ask for tips and gifts, which makes me want to do that. Oh, well, thank you, Karen. Yeah, I don't like it. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not here for the tips and the gifts. I am very fortunate to be very well compensated for what I do. So I've always come into this with a very, I'm volunteering my time. You know, it's my mission. So I don't want to be saying, oh, go give me some tips. And I'm not judging anyone that does that. To each their own, but I don't want it to have that. I don't know. I don't want to keep talking about that. So I will never do that. I just wouldn't like that. My kids wanted me to, I don't know if you all know this, but sometimes there's literal lives out there. Oh, which of these objects are using touchdowns? Oh boy. I got to do sometimes if you do a live for a while, TikTok gives you like it's almost like a CAPTCHA thing. You know, you got to solve a little thing. Whatever. But what was I just saying? I don't remember. It's kind of funny too, but yep, it's gone. Oh, I know I was gonna tell you that sometimes they got these lives And this is what my kids wanted me to do is you'll go to the live and like they have like whatever, like a cowboy hat they'll put on you, And so it's like someone will be like, oh, I'm gonna buy him a cowboy hat. And every time they put a cowboy hat, the person will be like, woo, partner. You know what I mean? They call them like NPCs. So it's like when you buy them like a cowboy hat, they'll do like a cowboy thing. If you buy them like a baby rattle, they'll do like a baby thing. And they just sit there for hours doing this. And they make a shit ton of money doing it. But yeah, they just sit there the whole time. And it's like if you don't give them something, they just stand there and they go like this. And then you give them the cowboy, oh, woo, partner. It's a crazy world out there. Who knows? Maybe you'll see me doing that someday. Like I said, I like to show my appreciation with money support for time spent sharing wisdom. Expensive out here. It is expensive out here, right? Good Lord. I was saying that to someone yesterday too. I was like, I don't really eat junk food. I let my kids eat it though, not crazy amount, but I do let them eat it because I don't want to be weird. And I used to eat a bunch of bullshit and I'm in a good spot now, but so I moderated a bit, but I do let them have it. But the point being that, a lot of times my son, especially like have his friends come over and be like, oh, can we go to get some snacks? And it's like, okay, you get some chips and whatever bullshit. And, like two kids, it'd be like $30. What the shit? You sound like old man Jim coming down the road. Like, when I was a kid, potato chips were 75 cents. Back in my day, M&Ms were 50 cents. What the shit? $30. So I don't know. I don't eat fast food, junk food, or much processed food. Certainly I noticed my food going up a bit, but my food's a higher quality. Just to be honest. And I eat normal shit. I eat burritos and Mexican food and I eat all the normal shit. I just go to places that are like usually like that aren't chains. You know what I mean? Like that make the most of the food there. It's different. Most of the chains you go to, they're just heating the food up. Just so you know, that's another story. But yeah. Anyways, it's expensive, I think, and I don't eat meat. So it's like, that's why I giggle to myself every time someone's like, well, eating healthy is real expensive. Bullshit. I promise you are spending more money on food than I am. I promise you. Promise you. My salads that I eat each week are probably $16, $17 for the week. My breakfast costs me about $5 to $7 a week. My dinners are my healthy dinners that I eat most nights of the week, it's rice, beans, vegetables, basic shit. It is not expensive. So yeah, but it is expensive out there. But yeah, if you want to support, well, if you really want to support me, and I like it this way. This is how my life is. But this is Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar was a big sales trainer back in the day, and I used to do a lot of sales. And I'm a fan of a lot of what old Zig says. But one of Zig's big quotes was, and I'll get it right here, but I'll get somewhere. But it basically said, you'll get everything in life you want when you help a lot of other people get what they want in life. And so for me, this is why I love my work so much, because it's kind of the Robin Hood model that I think of, where because I do have expensive programs and you can coach with me and it's a bigger investment. But that allows me to get on here for free and do this. So it's like, I like this. But anyways, Rebecca, yeah, if you want to invest more with me, come join the coaching program. You'll love it. My coaching program is the shit. I haven't really been promoting it lately. I've kind of taken a step back from it. But I'm going to start re-engaging with that in the next probably month or two, to a certain degree. But yeah, you can get in there. That's the way I would do it, because then that's the best I can offer you. I always say that to you all. If you can work with me, and the best way you can work with me right now is in my groups, but that is the best value you will ever get in your entire life. And I mean, like, you are literally never going to meet a person like me who will be able to get you to your goal weight more effectively. Like, there's literally, you're never going to meet a person who knows as much about living at your goal weight as I do. I don't say that lightly. If you know someone that you think knows more, please let me know, because I will learn from them. I'm obsessed with this shit. So you will, I know for a fact, getting to speak with me regularly is without question the greatest value. But I always flip flop back. But I always kind of go back and forth. That's what I've done. Really, when I look back over 20 years, I kind of sometimes I go more into my program, and sometimes I go more back into coaching. The last 3 years, I started the group coaching, and that's been amazing. That's where I spend most of my time now. You know, I really love my group coaches, my coaching groups that I got. They're incredible. So, anyways, I'm tired. I gotta get out of here. But just listen to it in real life. Yeah, great job, Rebecca. Good job taking action, and good job getting the program. Do you think if we eat at the same time every day, but not forcing to do it, it's better for our metabolism? Can we absorb lots of protein when people do OMAD? Like when they do carnivore and OMAD? I don't do OMAD because I don't want to force myself to eat a lot all at once. Do you think if we eat at the same time every day, it's better for our metabolism? I tend to think so, but I don't know for sure. But I know for me personally, eating at the same times every day is good for my psychology. It's really good for my head. I like knowing when I'm going to eat. I space it out. I'm always comfortable. Like I'm always like a little hungry, but never too hungry, never too full. It's so I like eating at similar times every day. Is it better for your metabolism? I feel like it is, but I don't know. I don't have a real concrete answer for that. Can we absorb lots of protein when people do OMAD? I don't know. I'm not a 1 meal a day expert, and I just think 1 meal a day is silly. Everyone I talk to loves it when they're doing it because they bullshit themselves, but then they don't stick with it. Oh, so there's no volume? That's weird. There should be volume. But anyways, that's a good sign. Good sign to leave anyways. I know there's volume in some places, but I got to get going. All right, everyone, have a super duper day here. If you're not in my world, click the link in my bio, go get the hypnosis session, watch the video I made for you, read the emails, look out for your emails. I got a goal weight training coming, a little quiz coming. I think it's exciting, and go check that out. I'm here live every day, Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern, where I'm happy to answer your questions and do what I can to help you out. If you miss this, if you miss the lives, it's also a podcast. So it's Program Yourself Thin. It's on all the podcast platforms. So you can go check that out. And yeah, but get on my list because all right, Rebecca's a fellow Greek. All right. And I'm imagining that means goodbye. I know like 4 Greek words. I'm so mad. I used to do the Bible study in Greek Cultural Center instead of the Greek. I wish I took the Greek class, although I took 5 years of Spanish and that didn't do too good either. But I'd like to know a couple more Greek words. I should learn something. I'll do Duolingo so I can at least pretend a little bit longer. Nothing worse than saying a word in Greek though, and then the person hits you with the 2 minutes of Greek and you just have to stand there and be like, oh yeah, I don't know. I don't really speak it. User 292 says, I found that whole in intermittent fasting or OMAD, I couldn't get the protein in. Yeah, the protein. People's protein goals a lot of times are the big problem too, though. I know people have really high protein goals. So a lot of times you don't need that much protein. But I'm not going to get into that now because I'm out of here. So, all right, everyone, have a super duper day and we'll talk soon. Bye.